Hi everybody, welcome back to the Cosplay Madness that is my channel. Before I really start this video, I thank you so much. I hit 3,000 subscribers a couple of weeks ago and that's super cool. And so if you're not subscribed already, make sure you take the time to click that button. Now's a great time to do it. Anytime is a great time to subscribe to a channel. Am I right? Yay! Cosplay! Today I'm going to show you how I styled my Victor Nikiforov wig. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and really it was kind of a long journey because wig styling is not my strongest suit. It's something I'm still pretty new at, but something I would definitely like to get better at because really important for cosplay. So I hope that this tutorial is helpful for some of you. I'm gonna go through some of the stuff that I definitely messed up on and things that I know I'm gonna do better next time I style a wig. And so let's get started.
So you're obviously going to need a wig. This is a Wesley from Art of Wigs that I dyed a little bit darker. It was originally in silver. And this wig has something called a skin top, which means it just has this little part of the wig that makes it look like a realistic part on like a real scalp. You're also going to need a wig brush, a straightener, and a hairdryer. You, of course, need a wig head and just a little comb. Some little alligator clips like that are also really helpful for holding wig hairs in place while you're styling. So first thing you need to do is put the wig onto your wig head, and what I started with was just sectioning the hair and then taking the flat iron to it and straightening it out. The wig I'm using is heat resistant up to, I think, like 400 degrees. You can check the Art of Wigs website, but it can take a lot of heat. Just make sure if you're using like a cheaper wig from Amazon, it's not gonna melt. So now what I'm doing is creating the side part that Victor has, and I'm just using the heat from the hairdryer to train that part down. It's really important to use heat when you're styling a wig, and so you heat it up and then let it cool. It's kind of like Warbler. So the first thing I started with was Victor's bangs. He kind of has some sort of like mildly sticky up bangs. So I teased the hair and then sprayed some regular hairspray on it. I left a little section down to comb over the top of it just to make it look smooth, and then I used the hairdryer to train it up and to keep it smooth. I also just used a comb to get rid of any flyaways and position the hair how I wanted it. It takes a lot of messing with, so this is something I wish I kind of wouldn't have done so quickly. That was some Krylon quick adhesive spray, and that is like some heavy duty spray. Like you get that from the Home Depot and it doesn't really go anywhere, which is good, but I wish I would have waited until I was completely happy with the wig. So that's something I learned for next time, is just use regular hairspray first and then the really strong stuff later. So what I'm doing now is I'm just sectioning off the pieces that I want in the front of the hair, because Victor sort of has side bangs on either side. He kind of has weird looking hair. So what I'm starting now is I'm just trimming some of the length off of the bottom of the hair. I'm doing this by cutting straight up with my scissors instead of cutting straight across. Cutting straight across can create more like blunt layers. Now I'm not great at cutting hair because I don't do it very often. So I cut the bottom layer and then I took down the top layer, and I'm starting to kind of cut in some more layers. Now the layers that I'm cutting right now, they ended up really kind of choppy and blunt, but I did find out a way to smooth them down later. A wild doglet appeared. Hi doglet. Hi. Hello. She's so curious. Anyway, back to cutting. So, like I said, cutting straight up into the wig and just cutting some layers into it, because Victor has like some very fabulous layery hair, and it does look pretty bad right now. So now I'm starting on the other side of the bangs. He has one longer side of bangs and one shorter side of bangs, and so these are the short side, and so I'm cutting quite a bit of length off of the shorter side. So if you're looking at Victor straight on, it's the left side of his bangs. So this is something that I did and decided to get rid of later. I sort of swooped the hair back and left this really weird sideburn piece down, and yeah, it looks ridiculous, and so I ended up combing it out later. But before I did that, I started to style the long side of his bangs on the right side. And something that's really helpful when you're styling bangs, especially if it's like a really thick wig and they're sort of unique bangs, is to put it on your head and cut looking into a mirror. You will get wig hair all over you, but it helps. So this is where I combed out the bangs, and as you can see, it looks really kind of chunky and blunt. And I didn't like how thick the bangs were because it stood up off of my head in a really unrealistic way. So I got one of these. It's a hair shaping razor, and I got it from Sally's. Oh my gosh, I'm upset that I wasn't using this thing the whole time. It's so useful. It's super helpful for thinning out the bangs because the wigs from Arta Wigs are super thick, which is awesome. But sometimes they can be a little too thick, but it's better that they're too thick than too thin. So I just ran the razor right over the hair to just get rid of some of the hair. And I also had to end up cutting a lot of parts of glue out because I used that super strong spray adhesive earlier in the process, which again I shouldn't have done, but I know for next time. I also used the razor to smooth out the layers in the back, which made them look a lot nicer. So what I began doing with the long sided bangs, because they were way too thick for my liking, was I just took the razor to them and just swiped it over, and you can't really see because I sped up the video, but it takes out a lot of hair. Make sure if you're using one of these you have plenty of replacement blades because it does dull quickly. So I put on the wig and used the razor while wearing it. This razor does come with a guard, but you can take off the guard to cut off a little more hair than you would with the guard on, but I definitely recommend keeping the guard on the razor, especially because you're not as likely to cut yourself. Luckily I didn't, or else that really would have been a bummer. Also, it's really not safe. You shouldn't do it. So just keep razoring the hair. Something I did was I cut the layers underneath the bangs pretty short just so I could keep the volume but have them thinner at the bottom. That was how I wanted it to be. So I kept razoring, and something I decided that the bangs were still too thick, so I just took part of the bangs and combed them backwards and parted it straight on at the front, just so I could thin out the bangs even more and then add some more hair to the back. So alternating hot and cool air, I just trained the hair back into the wig and then took the razor to blend the part that I pushed back into the rest of the hair. And that's it.
That's it for Victor. I'm super happy with how it turned out, especially because short wigs are hard. Long wigs are a little easier because usually you're only like cutting bangs or doing little like curls or sticky up parts. I don't know. But short hair, you really have to get it right and make it look natural. And I think I did a decent job. So I'm very pleased with it. So as a quick side note, you can definitely see some of my dark brown hair near my ears and in the back. But generally before a convention I shave my hairline and then my sideburns, I suppose you could call them. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in a comment down below, and if you would like to look at some of my past progress photos on this wig and future progress photos on this cosplay, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Snapchat. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye! Or should I say, do svidaniya? I know, like this much Russian. Like this much Russian. Anyway, bye.